The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining me on Chit-Chatting with Jocelyn. Today, we have got my favorite guest, Doris Hohensee, and have we got a blockbuster story for you. I think many of you have heard about the Nashua City Hall, what's going on down there, and the latest is an arrest, a second arrest, on Friday. And Doris is here in studio with me. Thank you for joining me and coming in.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, you're very much welcome. You wrote 2 articles.
Yes.
On a lovely lady.
Who I've never met.
Right, that I only met yesterday. Who made an appointment at the City Hall, which you need to do because of COVID. She gave a Freedom of Information Act, a FOIA, submitted that ahead of time. Told them exactly what she would like. They agreed to it. She double-checked her appointment the day before and the day of and confirmed it.
And they told her she would get 100% of the information. She said, I only need a subset. But they said, it's all right, you're going to get it all on Friday.
So Friday, she double-checks. She drives to Nashua, to the City Hall.
She thought it'd be a quick pickup.
Yep.
Ready for...
Well, she brought her daughter with her. We're just going to come run in and we're just going to grab our things. She gets there. Nothing's ready.
Well, the clerk, when she went in, there was somebody, I guess, that welcomes people. And she knew who, she says, I'm here to pick up information. And the welcomer, as an employee, knew her by name, said, are you so-and-so? And she said, yes. So she was expected by name. And then the clerk's office is locked. So the clerk came out and said, either came out or called, I don't know which, that the information will be sent to her later in the day by email. Because the information has to go to the Attorney Bolton, to be reviewed. This is public information. The slips that come out of our voting machines, tabulator slips, and he has to review them before they go out.
But wait. But isn't that done back in November when the election was November 3rd? Weren't all those tapes looked at? A copy has to be sent to the state somehow, whether, that's email or whether that's USB or however they do it. A copy of those tabulator tapes have to be sent to the state. So they've already been reviewed. So what are they talking about?
There's no reason they have to review them. They're not going to redact anything.
Thank you.
So a little bit later, she gets a call from the attorney saying that he doesn't need to review them because there's nothing to redact, but she'll be getting them on Monday. At this point, she's starting to feel this is a little strange.
Well, I'll just wait. I think at one point.
No. Before she got the attorney's call, she told the clerk that she would like to wait for it if it's only going to be later the day. Okay. So then I guess they had the attorney call her to make sure she understood. No way, we're not going to get them today, even though the clerk just promised it, because the clerk didn't want her in the building. She was in the lobby. You come through the opening doors, they were unlocked. You walk up and they open automatically. She stood a few feet inside. She never went anywhere.
Right.
They didn't want her there. So calls the attorney. The attorney says, well, I don't need to review them, but you're not going to get them until Monday.
The city's attorney.
Okay. Steve Bolton. Maybe by saying that way she'd have to get out of the building because she can't stay over the weekend. I don't know the logic. But one person says one thing, one person says another. It's kind of contradictory.
So to keep it simple, because there's so much out there, everybody, and this is from the horse's mouth. It's been verified that what Doris wrote is 1,000% correct.
I wrote it,
double-checked it.
And I kept sending their drafts, and she would correct things, and I gave exactly what she said. Then at some point, somebody inside called the police. So she had, I think, 4 officers out there. She talked to them, and explained what the problem was in Wyndham. There's discrepancies of the ballots.
Which they knew nothing about.
They knew nothing about. So she explained that she just wanted that information to make sure that everything was all right.
That she
in
had
Nashua.
made an appointment.
Right.
She had confirmed the appointment. She had given the FOIA. They had said they had all the information ready for her. They knew she was coming down Friday, yet
They're giving her the runaround. So the police, in order to de-escalate, which is a good thing, said, then you need to make another appointment.
correct.
Fine. So she went back in. They were leaving. They saw her go back in. They made a comment or two.
And I'm sure that
which she has on her tape.
which I believe there's cameras on the city hall as well,
There's
and
CCTV.
they have it on them that the police
She
were leaving.
videotaped with their permission.
Right.
So she goes back in to make an appointment. This time, the clerk would not give her an appointment. This is how they
Would
pick
not
and choose.
give her an
It was the
appointment.
same with the last woman, Lori Ortolano. She was only there because they refused by email, by phone, by anything to give her an appointment. So she went there to get an appointment. She gets
Well,
arrested.
what else would you do? And she was arrested.
She was arrested. So anyway, this one tried to make the appointment. She's leaving for the day, and they called the police a second time. She walks over to the police cars. I mean, she's not hiding anything.
No.
Has a conversation, and without warning her, without saying you're under arrest, without explaining anything, they grab her from behind, cuff her so tight that she still got marks.
Oh, yeah. I saw
She
them
thought
last
she
night.
was going to be thrown to the ground.
Yep.
So she was a little bit upset. I mean, anybody would be if you've never been arrested before and they did this, you know. If
No
anybody
warning.
touches you without saying, I am going to do something,
Right. I'd scream.
you get startled.
Yeah.
So they put her in the back of they put her purse in the trunk and her phone, and they put her in the back seat. She asked if the mask could be removed because she couldn't
Oh, she was
breathe.
panicking, I'm sure.
Right. And she doesn't know what's happening to her. I don't think they read the Miranda rights either.
No.
So she can't undo the mask. She's got her hands behind her back. I think they kindly let her breathe. She asked for water. Well, that never happened. They said that she could drink from a faucet over the open toilet in her holding cell. You didn't know that? So she didn't get any water.
So kind of like, I don't want to digress.
I won't even
Yeah.
go there. So and simultaneous to her being in the holding cell, some sweet soul at City Hall leaked the arrest to Sonia Prince, who went out on Facebook and said, so-and-so just got arrested in City Hall, and she didn't have a right to know request, she didn't have an appointment, and
Lie, leak.
Well, yeah, the leak was from City Hall.
No,
'cause
I
that's
know,
the
but
only
I
one.
mean, they lied about the FOIA. They lied about her not having an appointment. They lied about her not confirming it. And then they
But
go
is
and
City
leak
Hall
this
in the
at City
business
Hall?
of calling friends?
It's not their business.
Call the press, maybe, but usually the press goes to the police department.
Yes.
It hasn't been in the paper yet. So she offered to give them evidence on her phone from her videotapes of her innocence. Well, she's tied up and the thing's in the trunk. She couldn't do it in the right. So when they got there, she thought they would give her that opportunity.
Give her the phone,
they
yeah.
booked her. They booked her through in her cell and said, okay, now would you unlock your phone?
Right. They wanted the code. And she had cooperated not once, not twice, but 3 times and said, I will show you the
Right.
video on my phone. And they said, no, we want the code.
They
So she said, get a warrant.
They should never get the code. They should say, please, if you wanted to, you'd unlock it and then let them see something.
Which is what she wanted to cooperate, but
you
they
would
didn't want her to
never
show
give them
it.
your code.
No.
But anyway, with all this upsetment, I mean, she's beside herself. She was on Facebook before she got released from the jail.
Yep.
On her own recognizance. No bail money was needed.
Shame, to quote some
What
idiots
is
in
this going to
DC.
cost Nashua? How many lawsuits do we need? We had a $60,000 one in the school district when the former school board president came in with permission of the front desk, the receptionist, to visit a friend that was retiring during her lunch break while picking up right to know request information. Booted out of there. Police told him, okay, you need to leave. He peacefully left. Then the superintendent, because it's on the report, you can go look up the police report. He berated them and berated them. You've got to arrest him. You've got to arrest him. And he said, well, then
No, they don't.
do a stalking, whatever, if you're afraid of
Get a
him.
restraining order.
Right. And he's like, oh, well, I'm not afraid of him. But you got to arrest him. He didn't do anything. You're supposed to give a warning the first time. That's the other thing. This woman was given no warning.
I was just going to ask you that.
And she was never asked to leave City Hall.
So
Not by the clerk, the attorney, or the police.
or anybody. So here's the thing: the first lady,
Lori.
I'm kind of like avoiding names.
Well,
but
that
so the
was in
first
the-
lady
that was
in the paper, Lori. So she was charged with
Criminal
trespass. Never warned, never told to leave. Same thing. And now we have this lady, our friend. We're not releasing her name.
You're innocent until proven guilty,
Exactly.
and I'm not helping.
I'm not helping
with
either.
this.
And she is no warning. Please, could you leave? First set of police officers, very helpful. Go get another appointment.
And watched her go back in.
Watched her go back in as they
all
left.
on their
That's all on tape, probably multiple places.
Yeah.
And then the second time arrests her, no warning, and she's charged with criminal trespass.
Not charged. She was
Handcuffed
and then charged. No Miranda rights.
Nope. No warning, no nothing. What is going on in Nashua City Hall?
I think
What the bejeebas
it's Dunch's
is going
fault.
on?
The mayor's. He controls City Hall.
Well,
The
we've got
the-
another dictator?
The buck stops at his desk. And guess what? When Lori was in there, his desk was locked. No one was in there. The whole place has got the CCTVs monitoring all the rooms since they had this discrepancy with Lori. In everybody's office except the mayor's, the legal office, and Kim Kleiner. Those are the special people.
They don't have the cameras.
No, every place else does so they can see where you come and go. But you don't want to put cameras there because then you'll see that they don't come in the day, or if they do come in, how late?
So to digress just a little bit, because this is where I always go and everybody knows I do. So we the voters, we the taxpayers, we the citizens of the towns around in Nashua pay pretty high taxes and pay their salaries. And oh, by the way, that's our house.
Yes, it's a people's house.
So just like, and there's a reason I'm saying this, the White House is our house.
Locked up.
Locked up, barbed wire. We're looking at Nashua City Hall.
We shouldn't-
locked up.
The people shouldn't get these lawsuits to have to pay for their bad behavior.
No.
Because they're acting under the color of law. That should be a personal lawsuit against each and every one of them. I mean, you warn somebody, what you're doing is not right. You need,
Nothing. And the thing is, she didn't do anything wrong. I mean, this could not have been a more perfect.
I heard that he went on a town hall meeting by my neighbor. She's an elected official in Nashua. And I'm looking for the tape. Maybe somebody will be kind and send it to me.
If you have it, send it to Doris.
He said that, City Hall is open. It's been open throughout the whole pandemic. And all you have to do is go in and make an appointment. Go in
and make an appointment. But yet, Laurie was arrested for going in.
Well,
to make
I'm
an
going
appointment.
in on April 7th. I'm going in to get the information that she should have got. On Monday, she did get tapes, but she showed me two pictures. One of them has the end of a tape, no signatures. It's not an official copy.
Correct.
The other one has a slice in the middle.
Cut
And the
and
ink
paste.
on the top is dark and the ink on the bottom is light. Even if I didn't figure out that there was something missing,
You still can't read it and make heads nor tails of
but
it,
that's
could
it.
you?
You don't have a slice in the middle of a picture with different color ink. There's clearly something missing. Why?
Yep.
So I need to see the physical documents and take pictures of them. And I'm going in with a friend.
Good.
I told her,
Or two.
I told the city clerk, I'm going in with a friend. I don't want to get arrested.
No. This is, the behavior of these towns and cities and the people affiliated with this voting election process are making this 100 times worse.
The optics are terrible.
The optics are terrible. By their bad behavior, their rude behavior, their lying. Yes, it's ready, come get it. Oh no. Why are attorneys having to look at anything when everything was verified on November 3rd?
They verify by the state. The state verified those slips.
Because they had to send copies of them to the state. So hello, Secretary of State.
It was a state election, so the town is not in charge of verifying them. The clerk's office does, and then the state legislature
Correct.
does. It's not his purview.
So all right. So we've got this case with our dear friend, and she's up with her lawyer right now. So let's talk a little bit about the city halls, the town halls. So I got a copy of the tapes. Mm-hmm. I don't know a lot about it. I don't profess to know a lot about it. This is why I have conversations with people. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert and a know-it-all. And a lot of people say, well, you don't know diddly. It doesn't matter.
You're helping out those who are collecting it and trying to analyze what happened.
Yeah.
That's
and
it.
I have a way of thinking. You have a way of thinking. We can put 3 people, 4 people, 10 people at a table with one piece of paper, one kind of information, and we'll not have 10 opinions, but we'll have 10 views of the truth and what we're looking at. This is what it's about.
This wasn't even my issue. I wasn't chasing this issue. But when
I wasn't either.
But a friend of a friend gets arrested for doing nothing, I had to do something to help.
So we have 85, and so I've had Ken Eiling on my show. I've had Dr. Strang. I've had Senator Bob Gaida. I've now had you.
I want him to run for governor next year.
Oh, wouldn't that be awesome?
I don't know who else, but I would just think that he's
Just putting it out there.
He's worked so hard in Wyndham to get this to move forward, and he's very knowledgeable, and I just think he would
ethical,
be honest,
professional, honest, constitutional, the original Constitution of the state of New Hampshire, following the law and not fudging anything. This is what we are looking at. So 85%, I believe it was Dr. Strang and Senator Gaida that said to me, 85% of the cities and towns in New Hampshire have the AccuVote tally tabulating machine. And of course, you've got the people that go, it's not AccuVote. We have town clerks that go, it's not AccuVote. We have selectmen that go, it's not AccuVote. The software, the firmware, the memory board is AccuVote. Go on the Secretary of State's website.
It's only one machine they're allowed to use.
LHS-Dominion. That is how it is identified on a state website.
Yeah, and they've had this machine for a long time. They're not allowed, they can either, the other 15% probably have small towns, they count by hand. They don't need a machine.
Dixon Notch.
Right.
Did I say that right?
Right.
Yeah.
Dixville Notch.
Dixville Notch.
But they're not allowed to have any machine except the state authorized machine. So if they have a machine, they have a Dominion machine.
Mm-hmm. Because the AccuVote
is the Dominion.
But more importantly, the firmware and the software and the memory boards, which are all kind of the same thing.
Are we supposed to know where that firmware is? I understand by state law that they're supposed to keep track of everything for 22 months.
Sidney Powell has talked about it. Lynn Wood has talked about it. There is a federal federal law that talks about it, that the election data and ballots and memory boards must be kept for 22 months. But for some reason in New England, and specifically in New Hampshire, the town clerks, city clerks take the memory boards, put them in an envelope, and send them to LHS in Salem, who reprograms them, sends them back for your next election. So November 3rd was the national and state election.
They can't send them back until they know who the candidates are.
Well,
so
that's what I mean. Yeah. So they have them. So, but we all had local elections coming up in March. So they were sent back sometime in November. Mm-hmm. Some towns got theirs back with the new candidates and the new information on them. A few towns have not, like Amherst, theirs, our election was pushed out to June, so they don't have those memory boards back. So my question is, when you send back those memory boards, firmware, software, whatever you want to call them, are those being held by LHS Dominion for the 22 months? And are they giving the town, cities, brand new ones with the new information for the next election? Which is it? We need this answered.
It doesn't matter.
Your point, that's going to be my point.
The chain of custody is broken. And I mean, and do we even know if the software, the firmware, all that is the same, or if they haven't wiped them?
So I've received answers from 2 or 3 people that when they called LHS, those memory boards, cards, whatever you want to call them, were wiped clean.
So
That
they broke,
information
they
is
broke the
gone.
law. Was it state law or state law and federal law? Because it was the
It was state and a federal election.
state law or for the state election, but what about the federal candidate?
Federal law says you have to hold it for 22 months,
So
which
they
is why
broke-
in Georgia, they were not supposed to shred the election ballots, and that's why they were doing videos of all the election ballots being shredded, and they hadn't held them for 22 months.
And they don't normally do that in Georgia or anywhere. Why all of a sudden? Somebody got their hand in the cookie jar?
There's just way too many questions, and this has nothing to do with Trump should have won. It's not that. That's not what we're talking about. We are talking about whether you are an independent, whether you are a Democrat, whether you're a Republican, whatever you are, your political affiliation. If you cannot fill out a ballot, because we have paper ballots in New Hampshire, and you cannot be 1,000% sure that your vote is not 100% protected under the Constitution of the state of New Hampshire. And I say the state of New Hampshire because the U.S. Constitution does not confer the right to vote. Only your state constitution does. So this falls on the state of New Hampshire right now. Where are every single one of our paper ballots? Why are they not available? Why, if they had to give a copy or whatever it was to the state for them to verify it, why is that not readily available for you and me? They can put it on a USB. They can make a copy of it. They can hold up the tape and you can videotape it or you can screenshot it. Why is that not readily available? Why is that a problem?
It's a public document.
And oh, by the way, isn't it our tax dollars that subsidize all?
Well, there's
Of
been
this?
too many irregularities. There was that recount between Dave Wheeler and Pignatelli.
Kevin Avard
Well,
and
I don't think he had a recount, but she went to Merrimack, the first town. There was a 1,500 point discrepancy in Dave Wheeler's favor, and they shut down the recount. Well, obviously she wasn't going to win if he starts racking up the points because
why didn't you finish the recount and let's find out what the heck went on in Merrimack?
1,500 vote discrepancy is
For
a
one
lot.
person?
One person is bigger than what happened in
In Wyndham, because you had 4 people with 300 votes each, that was a 6%.
And there was a 2,000 vote discrepancy somehow between Litchfield, Manchester state race. I went to bed, I wake up, they found 2,000 votes. I don't know why.
So I was with Steve Negron on 11/3, and I was going to do the interview with him. I did do an interview with him, and we were looking at the screen, and we're seeing his votes and Shaheen's votes, and his votes and Shaheen's votes. All of a sudden, we're talking to each other, and somebody screams, "What happened?" We turn. His vote count, in the second that I turned, like I'm talking to you, his vote count went down on the screen.
Isn't that what they say the Dominion machines are good for?
So if you're going to cheat, one person goes up and the other person stays the same. They might get a couple more, but you never go one down, one up.
Unless they do it at intervals of time.
But I never, ever, ever remember anybody losing votes
No,
except
I've
in a
never.
recount. So that's what I'm talking about. So I go home and I'm watching the screen and I'm looking at Bernie Sanders. Goes up and the other person goes down. On the screen, I watched across the United States, Republicans count in front of my face go down. Screenshotted them. Screenshots are all gone. I didn't erase them.
Off your machine, off your phone? Wow. So they're busy looking at the cloud.
Not making stuff up,
Yeah. My phone, it can't store any more things. It
Did
can't
you run out of storage?
Yeah, and I don't pay whatever monthly thing, so I don't
the
think
iCloud?
I don't think my thing's going to the cloud anytime soon.
They keep telling me I'm way out because I'm like way over 8,000.
Yeah.
I'm screenshotting everything. So I think I'm going to have to find somebody that can put it on a hard drive for me, an external hard drive.
Connect it to your laptop, and you can open an application, download all your pictures.
Okay. All right.
They say it's not too hard.
Okay.
But you open up this picture application. It's very similar to the one on your phone.
Okay.
And once you set it up, as soon as you connect,
It does it automatically.
It automatically does
I
it.
love it. So, people of New Hampshire, taxpayers, voters, this is not about party. This is about people taking our right to vote and to choose who we want to vote for and how it's counted and who's keeping it.
It's either an election or an appointment. Take your pick.
Yep. And it's seeming more and more, we've got all these people being appointed that we haven't chosen. Wink, wink, nod, nod. We've got elections that are being determined.
Why are they hiding the evidence? Why are they wiping the software? Why are they blocking access to the machine slips?
Why does, I'm going to throw it out there. Why, guys, get off your couch, look up the list, and go get the tabulation tapes from your city or your town. Go with some of the ladies. We need backup. We're doing it. We're going. And it seems like we are getting physically challenged, verbally challenged. We're being lied to. And I'm not saying that we're weak by any means, but you know what, guys? We need backup and we need your help.
You need witnesses.
We need witnesses. And you don't have to be a jerk. You don't have to get in people's face with the camera. You stay polite. You stay respectful, but you keep track of everything. Yeah. Will you come back and let's finish the story? And I am 1,000% sure we will have the young lady that we are talking about will be here in studio. She just has to finish up with her lawyer and get permission and get everything worked out before she comes in. And in the meanwhile, you can reach out to Doris. Mm-hmm. They can email you, or they can go Granite Grok. Your articles are on Granite Grok.
Granite Grok, yeah.
So you can go to Granite Grok and you can read Doris's articles and email, call us, reach out, find out the truth for yourself. Don't be rude. Don't be disrespectful. Simply ask for the tally tapes. Get a copy in whatever form they give you.
There should be 3. One is the zeros, signed by all the poll people. One is the totals, signed again by all your your moderators, selectmen, and then there's a third one. I'm not quite sure what that one's for. I presume it's both the clerk, signed by the clerk. Okay. I haven't gotten to find those yet.
All right. So that's your assignment. That's your homework. Till next time, I want to say thank you for joining me, Chit-Chatting with Jocelyn, and we will see you next week.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.